BEEX project is a no-profit foundation about visual art and photography. If you want to help us, just drop a donation on buymeacoffee.com/BerlinExplorer. What I wanted to say also, it's really nice. Also, another things I can recognize that I can feeling that you shoot a lot of picture, a ton of picture of your family, no?
Yeah.
Of your wife, I think, and your child, no?
Mhm.
And this is amazing because I feel that you are a person gave a lot of love. I mean, full of
Appreciate
love. I totally feel watching your face and watching the picture, and this is so. I mean, it's so beautiful to see that. Because in a way or another, this is not something a lot of people talk about. The love we give to our family, the love we give to our wife, our children, and I think this topic it's really missed in these last years.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people focus too much on the aesthetic part to show always, this word doesn't exist in the end. It's just a word recreated to show something is cinematic.
Yeah.
What I really feel in your picture is this true love for the simple things of life, and this I think has a value. I mean, that it's not really easy to find anywhere.
No, I really I appreciate that. And yeah, you know, going back to Joseph's advice about really having to love, what you're photographing. Um, I think at a certain point, I really started to mix. I would keep things separate, personal photographs, and then projects that I was trying to figure out, or how to do this whole photography thing. And there's a Swedish photographer. Gosh. There's a few, but people like Larry Clark also, that this sort of mixture, because it really is all the same thing, the personal photographs and whatever other photographs you might be taking. It's all choices that we're making. As far as being the objective observer, I found for me is I'm totally incapable of doing that. Early on, when to go back, when I was at Black Star Photo Agency, I eventually worked my way up a bit. I was scanning negatives, then I became a photo researcher, which at that time was the magazines. If they didn't have a photographer on scene, they would call around to the archives. And then eventually I told them, I want to be a photographer, giving you my 2-week notice. And it just so happened that it was around the first time that Hillary Clinton was running for New York Senate. And Black Star didn't have a photographer to go photograph her opponent, because that was not the money shot.
Yeah.
Everybody knew Hillary Clinton was going to win, so none of the photographers wanted to go shoot her opponent, which I don't remember who that was. But so they said, okay, here's the opportunity, go shoot this. And man, I realized that was not for me. It was super aggressive and, you know, to get your shot. And then, what was it? A year later, September 11th happened. And same thing, I was sort of, they had given me a few jobs through Black Star. I wasn't really excelling with, uh, you know, they sent me on a few commercial gigs and stuff like that. And it just was like, man, I am terrible at this. It was not, it was not working out. But when September 11th happened, they just, they contacted any photographer in the city that might be around, to give them film and send them down to ground zero. And man, I ended up down at ground zero, and I took hardly any photographs. I could not stop helping people up, helping people get by.
Yeah.
And I was just watching photographers taking these pictures, and believe me, I know it's necessary, you know, and it's a certain type that I guess can control their emotions. I've got less control.
I don't know. I don't know if it's about controlling emotion or doesn't feel the emotion. I don't know which.
I mean, that's the thing, you know, because it's necessary. I hate to call anybody that's doing that that they have less emotion. So I'd rather just say that maybe they have more control.
It's about. I think it's about empathy. I don't know. I don't know really because I'm like you in that case. I remember there was 3 4 years ago happened something in Berlin. There was a person was going to die, and there was blood everywhere, and other people was shooting picture, but I couldn't. I mean, come
Yeah.
on, was the person was dying? Why I have to shoot a picture of someone is
Yeah.
dying in front of me? And in that way, I don't know if you know Alfredo Jarre. He's a
Not familiar. I may know the photographs, but
he's an artist made a lot of installation with photography, and yeah, I remember him now because he was sent in Rwanda when there was the genocide, and
mhm,
tons of photography went there, took picture of the
right.
most cruel stuff we can see in the world.
Mhm,
But he decided to don't do it any picture. The only picture he did was this project name, The Eyes of Clotilde Merida, and this project he pushed for 20 years, and he just
yeah.
the eyes of this woman, and he said, yeah, for me is enough, this just to watch the eyes of someone else. I've seen all of that. For me it's much
Right.
more
Right.
stronger than watch any body death in the street. And this is
Mhm,
I think yeah, in a way or another, we are a bit the people that detain the story. So in this case, I think photographers um, are really important for our society actually, because more people shoot picture, and this is what I really like of this century, that everyone is able to shoot a picture. So then
mhm,
I would love to see in the future how they manipulate the story, because you cannot anymore.
yeah.
Cannot
Yeah.
manipulate anymore the story. There are too many stories. There are too many content every day, and
Mhm,
in a way, we can also feel lost in that. So then, when someone is sent to doing a work as shooting in a war or something like that, or in a situation is not
mhm,
really easy. Yeah, we deserve the people. They control them emotion or what else. But I think we don't have to unfocus on the things, to always be human. If someone is
yeah.
suffering, we cannot take a picture of that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
this is it's what I think is when something happen in front of me, and it's really cruel, and I don't do it anything to stop that.
Yeah.
I'm in the same way the killer of, or the someone is doing something bad.
Without a doubt, there was when I was at Black Star, there's a photographer named Flip Schulke, and a lot of his photographs are for at least Americans. Um, the photographs that are really in our minds, the horrible ones during at least the 50s and 60s civil rights movement, the pictures of policemen with dogs that are being sicked on people and stuff. And he also had this very famous photograph of this black woman with a crowd of white people behind her, and someone has a bottle that, you know, is about to hit her.
Yeah.
And this photographer was at the office one day, and everybody, you know, this guy's very famous and stuff. Everybody was sort of around him asking questions, and one lady asked him about that photograph, like, so what happened to that lady? And when he explained that, you know, right away he talked about having to put that proof into the world that this was happening. You know, he had to say that first before he said, well, she got hit with the bottle, you know. And just in my mind, being able to be that close, you know, the picture that he took, he was close enough to
move
stop it.
Yeah. Or to move somewhere.
And his explanation of he could have stopped that one hit, and he said the crowd would have then just engulfed all of them, and she still would have gotten the same. Okay, but me personally, I couldn't, you know. And there's a lot of photographers in history. I mean, there's a famous one from Vietnam of
Totally.
the guy getting shot, you know.
The same.
And that photographer eventually committed suicide. You know, he couldn't take it, you know. So anyway, not to get down that negative path there, but anyway, I learned that it was not for me. I needed to be well connected to what I was photographing, and really, that's why my family is in a lot of my photographs. Is that I don't just like walk out photographing. Like, today is my photo day of, let me go to this area. Man, it is that, you know, I have my camera with me a lot, and there's times that I'm shooting nonstop, and there's times that I'm not, you know. But it's always from the heart first. I mean, that's what I've learned, that works for me. Trying to come up with a story and make some checklist of, I need to get these photographs, and I that's not my type of intelligence.
I mean, it's really smart what you do. Also, I think it's, in the end, what I totally feel, it's just, you shoot picture without thinking. It's just because you want to do it. It's just pleasure, no? And then you're doing also a lot of editing in selection. This is the point.
No, exactly. It's a lot of, you know, I've learned through, not that I have any published books. I mean, I'm constantly working on it, but Joseph being one of my early influences, he has a lot of books. So I've seen the, you know, the pros of being able to then control the story, and tell the story that you want to tell. and it so yeah, the book is really where I'd like my work to end up. I mean, I make a lot of zines, and I think it's important for photographs to be available. You know, I've been told many times by friends, like, you put too many of your photographs on Instagram,
Yeah.
and why are you, like, you know, you're just putting everything out there. And man, I mean, I take pictures at the end of the day for to communicate and for people to see, and for things like this to happen where I'm talking to you, and uh that you saw my photography, and that sparked interest in you to talk to me about these things. I mean, um for me, that's, you know, that's one of the biggest points, besides just trying, you know, to feel heard, to communicate.
Yeah.
um
Totally.
i'm not I'm not a gifted writer. This has, you know, I found something that, you know, helps me. At least I love to tell stories, and but something with the writing of the stories, you know, I'm an overthinker. I can write a new sentence, one
Okay.
sentence.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Learn more about our project at allmylinks.com/Berlin Explorer, or visit our Instagram and follow Berlin Explorer Project.